Hey, I'm Valerie, and I want to tell you about the years I spent being invisible. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and it's like, you're not even there? Not in a dramatic way. No one's mean to you, no one's ignoring you on purpose, but no one really sees you either. That was me, for years. I wasn't the girl people remembered. I wasn't the one they called first. I wasn't even the backup option most of the time. I was just there, in the background, part of the scenery. And honestly, I got used to it. I learned how to blend in, how to laugh at the right times, nod when people talked, smile when I was supposed to. I became really good at being forgettable. But here's what no one tells you about being invisible. It's not just about other people not seeing you. It's about you not seeing yourself either. I stopped looking in mirrors for too long. I stopped taking photos. I stopped thinking about what I wanted, what I liked, who I even was. Because what was the point? If no one else cared, why should I? But there's a difference between being used to something and being okay with it. And I wasn't okay. This is the story of how I stopped being invisible, how I went from the girl no one noticed to someone people actually wanted to be around. This is part one, the hard part, the part most people don't talk about, because before the glow up, before the confidence, before any of that, there was pain, real pain. And if you're feeling that right now, I need you to know I've been there and I'm going to be honest with you about all of it. Let's go. I remember this one moment that really hit me. I was at a hangout. Nothing fancy, just friends chilling at someone's apartment. Music playing, people talking, that kind of vibe. Someone was talking about this show everyone was watching, and I said, wait, didn't they literally do that exact plot twist last season, though? Silence. Not even awkward silence, just nothing. The conversation just kept moving like I hadn't said anything at all. I sat there for a second thinking, maybe I said it too quietly. Maybe they didn't hear me. So I just kept quiet. Then 2 minutes later, one of the other girls goes,
Okay, but isn't this the same twist from last season?
and suddenly everyone's like,
I literally thought the same thing.
people started laughing, agreeing, going back
Oh
and
my
forth
God.
about it. And I just sat there thinking, did that just happen? Am I invisible? But I didn't say anything. I just smiled, nodded, pretended like it didn't bother me. That happened more times than I can count. In group chats, I'd send a message and it would just get buried. Like I'd text, anyone want to grab food? Then an hour later, someone else would text the exact same thing and suddenly everyone's replying with plans. Wait, I literally just said that, but I wouldn't say that out loud. I'd just leave them on read and pretend I was busy anyway. At parties, I'd try to join conversations. I'd stand there with my drink and someone would be talking about something I actually knew about. So I'd add something and people would just nod politely and turn back to each other. Oh yeah, I actually read about that. So anyway, I'd stand there holding a drink, smiling, nodding, completely invisible. And the worst part? I started expecting it. I'd walk into rooms already knowing no one would look up. I'd join conversations already preparing to be talked over. I'd post on social media already knowing I'd get half the likes everyone else did. I started comparing myself to everyone. The girls who were effortlessly beautiful, the ones who walked in and everyone turned to look, the ones guys actually noticed, the ones who had that energy, that glow, that something. I'd watch them and try to figure it out. Like, what did they do differently? Was it their hair, their makeup, the way they talked, the way they laughed? I'd try to copy little things. I'd laugh louder, dress like them, try to be more fun, but it never worked. Because it wasn't real, and people can tell when you're faking it. I'd scroll through Instagram late at night, see girls living these confident, gorgeous lives, and think, what do they have that I don't? And I'd spiral, maybe I'm just not pretty enough. Maybe my personality is boring. Maybe I'm too awkward, too quiet, too much, not enough. I had a list in my head of everything that was wrong with me, and it got longer every single day. And here's the thing, I never said out loud. I blamed myself. I thought I was boring. I thought I wasn't pretty enough. I thought maybe I just didn't have it, whatever it was. I'd have these conversations with myself at night. Maybe if I was funnier, maybe if I dressed better, maybe if I just tried harder. But then I'd try harder and it still wouldn't work. So I'd think maybe I'm just not meant to be that girl. Maybe some people are just invisible. So I stayed quiet. I stayed small. I convinced myself it was safer that way because if you don't put yourself out there, you can't get rejected, right? Wrong. You just reject yourself first, over and over again. And the craziest part, I thought I was the only one who felt this way. I thought everyone else had it figured out. That confidence just came naturally to them, that they woke up feeling beautiful and worth noticing. I didn't realize that some of the girls I envied felt the same way I did, that everyone's faking it a little bit, that confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. But I didn't know that yet. All I knew was that I was tired. So tired. Tired of feeling small, tired of feeling invisible, tired of feeling like I didn't matter, and that exhaustion, that was the beginning of everything. So what changed? Honestly, I got tired. Not sad tired, not depressed tired, just tired of being the same person, living the same loops, feeling the same way. It was a random Tuesday night, nothing special about it. I was lying in bed, scrolling through my phone like I did every night, watching other people's stories, seeing their highlights, their perfect moments, and I just stopped. I looked at myself in the black screen when it went dark for a second, and I didn't recognize the person looking back at me, not because I looked different, but because I realized I had disappeared, not just to other people, to myself. I couldn't remember the last time I did something just because I wanted to. The last time I wore something I actually liked, not just what was safe. The last time I spoke up without second guessing every word. I had been so focused on not being rejected that I forgot to just exist. And I thought, what if I actually tried? Not tried to be someone else, not tried to fake confidence or put on a show. Just tried. Tried to show up differently. Tried to take care of myself, tried to stop hiding. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a coach. I didn't even know where to start, but I made a decision that night, a real one. I decided I was done being invisible. I didn't know how long it would take. I didn't know if it would even work, but I knew I couldn't keep living like that. The next morning, I woke up and I did something small. I got up, looked in the mirror, and instead of looking away like I usually did, I just looked. I looked at my face, my body, all the things I'd been avoiding, and instead of listing everything I hated, I just breathed. Okay, this is where we start. So I started small, really small. I started working out, not to transform overnight, but just to feel different in my own skin, to feel like I was doing something for myself. At first, I hated it. I felt awkward, out of place, but I kept showing up, even when I didn't want to, especially when I didn't want to. I started fixing the basics, my hair, my skincare, the way I dressed, learning what actually looked good on me, not what I thought I should wear. I watched YouTube videos. I tried things. I messed up. I tried again. I definitely had some questionable fashion moments in there, some really bad hairstyles, but I was trying. And that felt like something. I started speaking up more, even when my voice shook. In group chats, I'd send the message and not delete it. At hangouts, I'd say the thing I was thinking instead of swallowing it. Most of the time, nothing crazy happened. But sometimes, people listened, and that felt like everything. And slowly, things started to shift. Not overnight, not dramatically, but in tiny, almost invisible ways. I'd catch myself standing a little taller, smiling a little more, looking people in the eye instead of at the floor. I started to feel like me, like a version of me I'd been hiding for so long I forgot she existed. And that feeling was addictive. It made me want to keep going, keep trying, keep showing up, because for the first time in a long time, I wasn't doing it for anyone else. I was doing it for me. This isn't one of those stories where everything changes overnight. I didn't wake up confident. I didn't suddenly become the girl everyone noticed. There were still bad days, days where I felt like I was back at square one, days where I wanted to give up and go back to being small and safe. There were days I'd post something and get no engagement and think, see, nothing's changed. I'm still invisible. But then I'd remember I wasn't doing this for the likes. I wasn't doing this for anyone else. I was doing this for me. But I started to notice little things. Someone held eye contact a little longer. Someone complimented my outfit. Wait, I love that on you. Where'd you get it? And I didn't just mumble thanks and look down. I actually smiled and told them. Someone asked me a question and actually listened to the answer. Someone laughed at something I said and it didn't feel like a pity laugh. One time, I made a joke in the group chat and people actually responded with laughing emojis, real ones. I almost screenshotted it because I couldn't believe it. Small things, but they mattered. Because for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was becoming someone, not someone else. Just more of who I was supposed to be all along. If you're watching this and you feel invisible, I get it. I know what it's like to feel like you're on the outside looking in, to wonder if things will ever change, to feel like everyone else has something you don't. They can change, but it starts with a decision, a real one, not tomorrow, not someday, today. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to start. Start small. Start messy. Start scared, but start. Because here's what I learned. The glow up isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world made you feel small. It's about taking up space again, speaking up again, showing up again. And it's hard. It's really hard, but it's worth it. This is just part 1. This is where it began. In part 2, I'm going to show you what I actually did. The routines, the mindset shifts, the mistakes I made, and what actually worked. Because the glow up, it's real, but it's not magic. It's work. Consistent, sometimes boring, sometimes frustrating work, but it's worth it. I'm not going to lie to you and say it's easy. I'm not going to sell you a dream. I'm going to show you the real process. The messy middle, the setbacks, the small wins, because that's what actually helps. So if you're ready to stop being invisible, if you're ready to stop waiting for permission to take up space, if you're ready to try, even if you're scared, then stick around. Part 2 is coming and we're just getting started.